Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Do you have any tips for like healthy eating? Like not so much tips, but what are some of the things that you prepare, to eat?
It depends on the day, but I tell you, if you Google weight loss tips, currently my 50 weight loss tips is the #1 result. I'd recommend reading that. And that certainly comes into play when you're talking about habits, eating habits. By and large, I do my best when I'm maintaining, that is, not trying to lose weight, not trying to gain weight, to stay right around 2,000 calories a day. I'm 5'5". Right now, I just weighed in this morning at 140.8 pounds, which officially puts me at a 23 BMI. It sounds kind of high, but it's not horrible. I was just a couple months ago actually back up to 26. It gets away from me every so often, but I do have a few ground rules for what I do eat, and that generally keeps me healthy. One, no trans fats. It would be hydrogenated oils. That's man-made fat. It's essentially plastic that you're eating. Small amounts, but it's plastic nonetheless. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. 2, I avoid high-fructose corn syrup. And yes, it is theoretically the same as sucrose, but the way your liver processes sucrose versus high-fructose corn syrup, completely different. And ultimately, you are killing yourself over time with high-fructose corn syrup. Some have argued that it's a poison. In fact, if you want a good YouTube video to watch, Sugar, the Bitter Truth. It's about 2 hours, but it's excellent information right there. And then, in terms of the average day, it does depend. As a male who is getting on in years, I have to be very conscious of how much fiber I eat on a daily basis. So this may not be important to you, but it's important to me.
It actually is to me.
So I've found a lot of bread out there has stuff that I don't want in it, as in high fructose corn syrup in bread, and sometimes even hydrogenated oil, which is twice as evil. So I've recently found through Ime, who has been in a few of my videos, Your Little China Girl on YouTube, she's Hips for Hire on Twitter, something called Dave's Killer Bread. This guy, he was an ex-con, or he is an ex-con. Like he was in prison for all sorts of bad things, like theft and drugs, and he never killed anybody. But I just thought that the title of the bread was just kind of funny, Dave's Killer Bread, and he's got a certain ethos to it. So he's made a variety of breads that are available in many stores, including mainstream grocery stores. But there's nothing bad in them. And he's got a power seed bread that has 6 grams of fiber that tastes good. It's very filling, and it's good stuff in there too. So that's, if I have bread right now, that's my choice, a Dave's Killer Bread power seed variety. And then, quite honestly, I've started to eat a lot more fruit than I used to. And some people would say, well, I drink fruit juice. Well, understand, fruit juice is mostly sugar. Okay.
Everything but the fruit.
Right. It's pretty much everything but the fruit. And if any fruit is in there, you're not getting the fiber. Your body needs fiber. Okay. So if you're going to have it, have the real deal. I've tried a variety of fruits over the years, and certainly have my favorites. I love Granny Smith apples. They happen to be my favorite. I have one of those a day. Not that big, just medium, whatever. I get organic or non-organic. I guess they're all organic, but I mean organically raised apples. I also love strawberries. They're in season. Cherries are about to come in season again. A lot of fiber in cherries. Not as much in strawberries. Bananas. I mean, it's basics, right? It's not anything wacky. But I tell you, I don't know what kind of stores you have in your area, but I've got a local grocery chain. They sponsored Gnomedex last year, actually, PCC, that they've got a turkey sausage that's only like 100 calories, and it's amazing. Like, it is really, really good. You could serve it to someone and not tell them it was turkey, and they wouldn't have known. Absolutely amazing.
Again?
So, I throughout the day, I'm very conscious about what I eat. I try to, optimize, if I'm eating something, to try to be conscious of the fiber content and what's in it. I keep it simple. I get plenty of, protein, from meat. I'll eat peanut butter, have peanut butter sandwiches. I'll put butter on the toast. I'll, have the fruit, snack on that. If I'm out and about, sometimes it's a bit more of a challenge to eat well. I just try to keep conscious of how many calories I'm taking in. And that, I think, is just as important. Now, some would argue that, all you need to do is exercise. You know what? I don't care how much crap you shovel in your mouth. There's no amount of exercise that's going to take care of that. I mean, you'd have to exercise more than you were actually eating. I mean, it's just not practical. I'm not into lifting weights. I'm not into bodybuilding. I'd like to stay healthy, continue to stay healthy. A little bit of anaerobic exercise, a little muscle building, but, aerobic exercise as well. I do approximately 45 minutes on the Gazelle just to get some movement. It's the equivalent of walking about 2 miles an hour. The model for that were my grandparents. My grandfather is currently, I believe, 95 years old, still kicking. They walked. My grandmother, unfortunately, has passed away, but they walked everywhere. So I try to stay conscious of the stuff that I'm putting in my mouth. And I went into this in an earlier video when I was making a movie recommendation. Some people didn't like the recommendations I made, but I'll say it again for the sake of clarity. Food Incorporated.
I watched that.
Okay.
That movie made me think about what I eat.
Exactly.
Killer. Cut out.
Yeah.
Fast food, cold turkey like 3 weeks ago.
I tell you, here's the biggest challenge, I think, and it's not just Americans, because some people say, well, Europe's overweight too. It's, why? Because we export culture in America. That's our chief export. The amount of junk, of course, in junk food is astounding. I mean, that's what it is. It's not even food really anymore. It's product. It's food product. It's edible, but just because it tastes good doesn't mean your body's going to be able to handle it all that well. Maybe in the short term you're going to get something from it, but over the long term you're frying yourself. So the difference between, as was explained to me, fructose and alcohol is that you don't get a buzz with fructose. But it tends to have the same type of effects over time as alcohol does in your body, fructose, and especially in a highly refined high-fructose corn syrup. It's sweet. If you are a soda drinker and you stop drinking soda and that's all you change, then I'm talking regular soda. That's all you change?
I stopped that too, actually.
I bet you anything you'll lose 5 pounds within a month. Not by doing anything different, but dropping soda. Because the amount of sugar that you're taking in is astounding. And what's worse is replacing that with a diet soda. Here's why. It's an artificial sweetener. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. Just doesn't know what to do with it. Has no idea what to do with artificial sweetener. It's artificial! Are you artificial?
I am very much real.
Okay. Then what you should be dealing with are real foods, not manufactured foods, which isn't to say that you can't buy things that have been processed. Some things have been processed, but have been processed very carefully. There's snack foods that you consider snack foods that, aren't made with ingredients that your body can't handle. So I'm not saying cut out, quote unquote junk food. Just be a bit more picky about the things that you buy. Now, this is something that I've believed in since, let's see here, it would have been what year was it? 1999. This was right around the time that I was getting married, and I couldn't figure out why I was gaining all this weight. I mean, I was ballooning. My parents, have been overweight all their lives, and I've had to watch this stuff too. And, that's when I discovered a lot about, the artificial sweetener, the high fructose corn syrup, the trans fats. And I've by and large, which isn't to say that I haven't ingested them. I know I have, but by and large, I've avoided them, over the past decade or so. And, whether or not that's made me healthier, I can't believe it's made me unhealthier by avoiding that stuff, or doing my best to avoid it. It's impossible to avoid entirely, especially when you are, eating food, that you're not really controlling stem to stern. Staying, within the safe realm, with vegetables that you enjoy, and I love broccoli. In fact, I may make some tonight before I'm done and go to bed. I love broccoli.
Throw away the stem.
What's that?
Do you throw away the stem?
I'm not a big stem fan. I'm more on the crown side. I'll eat the stems, certainly. I mean, fiber is fiber. Not my favorite part, though.
I saw a recipe on how to make it to where you don't waste the entire broccoli. How you take the stem and you make it basically taste like teriyaki.
Oh, interesting. You got to watch salt though, because that's going to make you thirsty, and that's exactly what, by the way, a lot of the diet sodas will do. They'll just make you thirstier. Which, if you're drinking diet soda and you feel thirsty, what do you think you're going to turn to drink more of? More diet soda. Yeah, more diet soda.
Exactly, more soda.
Right. So, there's a lot of fun drinks out there that, aren't going to, eat your liver, so to speak. I drink coffee, I drink wine, and I know ain't ever going to be able to have a perfect life. But at least I know that coffee that I drink is organic, and that it came from this earth, and it's with water. I'm not putting anything else in it. It's like 5 calories. Caffeine isn't great for you. I mean, some people would argue the health benefits of drinking coffee. I'm not going to go that far. I just enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning. And then at night, a glass of wine, which some have argued is good for your heart. But again, wine, basically fermented sugar. But it is, for all intents and purposes, natural. My body should be able to handle it, respectfully. I'm not killing an entire bottle. It's just a glass of wine, sometimes two. There's only so much I can do. I'm a human being as well. But I find that keeping everything within the range of control keeps me at a weight I'm comfortable with. And when I, am lax with that, if I'm not watching it, sometimes that does get out of control. I kind of have to snap back. I have to, take a stand and take a personal responsibility. And I think that phrase is something that Americans have an extreme difficulty in exercising, let alone saying. Personal responsibility. Stop blaming the food companies, saying, "Oh, it's their fault." It's not their fault. It's your fault. It's all about personal responsibility. I did an interview a few weeks ago at South by Southwest with Violet Blue, and after seeing the interview, I recognized that I was up to about 158 or so pounds. That's a little high for me. That's a BMI of 26. Not to say that BMI is the end-all be-all of measurement systems, but that, for all intents and purposes, is overweight. And I could see it in my face. So immediately, I was like, all right, I got to snap back. I got to, watch what I'm doing and do my best to stay on that path. It's very, very difficult. You have to, get it into your head or your routine that this is what my body needs. This is how it runs well. Which isn't to say you're going to fall from time to time. That's going to happen. But long story short, as I said, I weighed in today at about 140.8 pounds. I've got a scale that, measures out, down to the ounce there. So that means I've lost in the past couple of months, I guess, close to about 10 to 15 pounds. And that's largely from just doing walking. And, watching my caloric intake, keeping it about 1,500, less than, 2,000, about 1,500. So you got to eat. I'm getting my fats. You got to eat fat. And by the way, if you want, and I realize you're asking about what you eat, the quality of your vitamins and minerals is just as important. So I do take a supplement. But I've identified a high-quality vitamin and mineral. Not all are built alike, and they're unfortunately not regulated by the FDA, so it's impossible to tell, really, other than looking at independent studies. But, and here's a I don't know if it's so much a secret, but your brain needs a few things, a couple of things really. They're called essential fatty acids, or EFAs. These are fats. Omega-3s, omega-6s, and omega-9s. So I take, of course, I eat things that are rich in flax for omega-3, I believe. But then I also take supplements. So a couple of supplements with omega-3, 6, and 9, and I know my brain is getting what it needs. If you want a natural appetite suppressant, take a couple of EFA supplements 20 minutes before you eat. Eat slowly, and you're going to find yourself satisfied, if you're eating good food, real food, without gorging yourself before you feel full. And your body's getting what it needs. Your brain's getting what it needs. And so that, to me, the essential fatty acids play as much a part in health as, the type of food choices that we make. A lot of processed foods, they add sugar into it, and then strip all the nutrients out, including all the essential fatty acids. Your bodies, look around you. And granted, when this video gets uploaded to YouTube, I'm sure a lot of people, if they haven't already, complain, Chris, why aren't you talking about technology? Look, dude.
Funny thing, the other day I was listening to your live stream. I fell asleep to the live stream.
Thanks.
While you were talking, and I actually felt like I was arguing with you about it. I felt like I was actually talking to you, so that's the reason I called. I wanted some more, so.
Yeah, well,
pretty nutty.
My bottom line is, we're all geeks, right? We all have to eat.
Yeah.
We're all, part of the system. If you love technology, you likely want to be around to enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
You got to think about these things, and no one else is going to do it for you. Take some personal responsibility, dude. I get really passionate about this stuff because I just look around and I see people making really bad decisions. Really bad decisions. And it's not that the facts aren't out there. They are. The low fat craze, how come, the low fat thing that we've instituted has only yielded an increase in obesity? It ain't fat that's the problem. Your body needs fat. It needs it. That's why it's there in nature. That's why it exists. But you can't just gorge yourself with things that your body can't handle, and you can't keep consuming calories that you can't get rid of. Any product that you see in the store, you've got to read the label. And you have to, once you know the product, you can trust it. Very seldom will they change the formula. But you've got to know what you're putting in your body. That is just as important as knowing what goes in your computer. Because I'm telling you, you won't be around to enjoy the same technology as others will if you don't take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself first before you start taking care of other things.